asking, Lord, what kind of online business should I start? You're not alone. I asked that question so many times to the point where I would procrastinate and not take actions because I was stuck asking that question to God. I'm pretty sure you've seen it online that people talk about start dropshipping, become a freelancer, or start your own inventory-based business. You have no idea which path to take and now you're stuck. You're not alone. That was exactly me. Maybe you're stuck not because you don't have enough resources or knowledge, but because you really want to be able to follow the right direction that God wants you to take. So today, by God's grace, we're going to break that down. Hi, my name is Love from the House of TL, where we help faith-led entrepreneurs build with real purpose, real strategy, and most importantly, with peace. So today we're going to be talking about 3 different types of online business model: dropshipping, freelancing, and inventory-based business. But most importantly, is how we are able to discern and move forward with God. No longer procrastinating, no longer waiting for the right time to start, because God says in Ecclesiastes, the person who waits for the perfect weather will never end up starting. So if we serve a God that does not procrastinate, why are we procrastinating? That ends today. Before anything, let's make one thing clear. Let's start with our foundation. God says, Proverbs 16:3, commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. It's not about figuring everything from beginning to the end. It's about how you go about it each step of the way. Before we actually break down the 3 business model that I mentioned earlier, I need you to follow this framework first. I also want you to know that you don't necessarily have to stick with this one type of online business forever. But it's good to start with one thing. Regardless of which business model you're going to do anyway, you'll learn a lot of skills, and the skills that you will learn connects with all of the business model and in business in general. So the first one is, don't start with money. When we have a business idea, automatically we are thinking about, what is the profit margin like? In 1 month, how much am I going to get? Do not start with money. Do not get swallowed in by the money, the figures, but instead believe that if God is in it, then provision will follow. Do not start with the profit, start with obedience. Second one is, what's your purpose in this season? I really need you guys to actually do these framework. Do not skip to the business model, because we tend to do that. We tend to kind of ignore the internal work, and we like to do the external work straight away. Ask yourself, what is your purpose in this season? Is it to provide your family? Is it to learn consistently, to pay your debt, to serve others? Really understand what is your purpose in this season, and it doesn't have to be flies. And it doesn't have to be something very complicated. Like for me, since I am now going to be a mom, I really want to be present for my child, a present wife. When I wasn't a mom yet, I would work from the very morning till the very night, you guys. I believe it's not really something that God wants us to do. He wants us to work diligently. Everything is work. Whatever you do at home, housework, that's work. Doesn't have to be what is your purpose for the rest of your life in the next 10 years for this season. Number 3, what are your current skills and your passion? I don't want you to overthink this too much, because honestly, even things like admin, knowing how to write, being a people person, especially over the phone, being good at Excel, or let's say you have a high knowledge of a specific software like Photoshop, or go high level QuickBooks and write them down. Or simply use ChatGPT, write down your skills and your passion, and ask what kind of services you can offer to your client as a freelancer. God says every part of our body, even if we think the parts are not so significant, is still so important in order for the whole body to work. And number 4, have a business meeting with God. You know, when you are working and you have to speak to your employer and you say, hey Rachel, can I speak to you for a second? Can I discuss something with you? That's literally the same thing, but with God. You already know what's in my heart, but I want to lay it all down, just you and me having a business meeting. So let's go. Start with a prayer, have a gospel playing. You follow these 3 things. What's one thing that you need to start? What is one thing you need to stop? What is one thing you need to surrender? So that at the end of your meeting, you have a practical step that you can follow. This could look like, what is one thing that you will start researching? What is one thing that you will stop overthinking? Faith over fear. What is one thing that you will surrender? Maybe there's one area that you don't know much, but you will surrender it to God, that He will lead you to the right people or the right resources in your next business meeting. Look back on those 3 things and what the progress is and discuss it with God. And I'm telling you, when I first started having a business meeting with God in that 1 week, literally a lot happened in that 1 week compared to if I was just doing it alone. And number 5, don't delay. If you're like me, you can even ask my husband this. I spent so much time waiting on God, seeking for signs, waiting for that feeling, waiting for the perfect moment. What is the perfect product to sell? How do I market it? It literally made me procrastinate. When God hit me with Ecclesiastes, a farmer that waits for a perfect weather will never end up starting, I said to myself, guilty. That's literally me. Take action and ask God, Lord, I'm gonna go, but if this is not for you, then slam the door shut right in my face and equip me to be strong enough to deal with that situation. Now let's break down the 3 business model. Number 1 is freelancing. Freelancing is when you offer your skills to your client. It could be admin work, content writing, even things like managing their QuickBooks. This is perfect if you have a basic computer or organizational skills. This is exactly what I started with in the beginning because I was a university student. I didn't have much money, so I started offering my skills as a service, and then I started adding more skills. So shameless plug, if you really want to build on your skills, the House of TL has so many resources that will help exactly that. But let's get back into this. But the cons about this is that you have to be somewhat people orientated. When you're working with clients, you have a meeting with them. The second business model is dropshipping. It is when you are selling a product, and preferably a product that is already popular, product that is already in demand in the market. When you market it online and you get a customer, you buy it from your supplier ships it to your customers, so you don't have to do all of that fulfillment and you get the profit. This is great if you're an introvert because you don't have to do Zoom calls. However, there is a low startup cost because a lot of the time when customers buy, you have to buy it from your supplier. The payment that you get from your customer, especially when you're selling it online, you might not necessarily get the payout straight away on the day that they buy, but you have to buy it from your supplier on the day that they ordered so that it gets delivered to your customer as soon as possible. You don't have to have your own website to start with. I did this the long way, you guys, because at the time there was no TikTok shop. Yes, there was Amazon, there was eBay, but I never really tapped into it. At the time, I would literally create the whole website for that one particular product, then I will market. Now there is a simple, easy way, which is you can use third-party website like TikTok Shop, Amazon or eBay, Shopee, Lazada. If you're in the Philippines, you need to consider that you would need to do a lot of research so that you know exactly what product to sell. Let me know if you want me to make a video about that as well. The thing that you would need to focus on with this is, since you don't have the product on hand, how to actually market the product. So shameless plug again, the House of TL is there to give you resources. If you don't know how to market it, you can also outsource it. that would mean that you need to invest a little bit to whoever you're outsourcing the marketing part. And the third business model is inventory based. There's two types. One, similar to drop shipping, instead of you not having the inventory, you actually buy a small amount and pieces to start with. The second way, you buy the product but you private label it, meaning you have your own logo, your own name in the products. With that one, it's a little bit more startup cost. Spend money on packaging, on logo. People don't know who your brand is yet, so there's a little bit more time that you would need to put into it. But if you love branding, that is what you're good at, that is for you. I actually did this 5 years ago when I was selling lashes. If I find a picture, I'll put it right here. Can you believe that now lashes is going viral on TikTok? Yes, it's a longer process, but if that's you and you have a little bit more money to invest, put it in your business meeting with God. That is the 3 business model. It's not about the perfect business. At the end of the day, it's about walking in obedience with God and including Him every step of the way, every single day. I'm telling you, it will change the whole thing. To wrap this up, I want you to remember Colossians 3:23, that God says, whatever you do it with all your heart for the Lord, not for human masters.